Hey, my name is Emily Myrick from the blog marriedmyrick.com, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do. I'm calling it Emily Uncut because I am not really going to be doing much editing to this video. It's kind of just a sit down and let's chat, let's connect. I want to be real with you guys because if you're here, if you're watching this, chances are you are a longtime subscriber of mine or maybe even a real life friend. And I just wanted to kind of chat about, I guess, some like kind of heavier topics that I haven't talked a lot about lately, but I have wrote a lot about this kind of stuff on my blog and in my email newsletters and everything like that. But if you know me, then you know I'm I would just say like a pretty joyful, happy kind of person, but I also struggle with depression. And that's something that I've struggled with for um, over 10 years is when I was diagnosed with it for the first time. And it's just a clinical kind of depression, but I think I don't know, like there's just a lot of layers, there's a lot of complexity to it, and I'm a big advocate for not all depression or not all anxiety is the same for everybody. Everybody experiences it differently. Of course, there's situational kinds of depression, and there is clinical, that's kind of where I fall into it. And then there's also seasonal kinds of depression. I mean, there's so many different kinds, and I think everybody kind of experiences it differently, but I think that there are some things that people who are going through depression experience that are similar, and maybe just like the way that you need help is different and everything like that. But I guess I just really wanted to open up and be vulnerable about that because I think sometimes I can have this perception of other bloggers and other like boss ladies or whatever, like all on Instagram or YouTube who are just like out there and just like so encouraging all the time, so inspirational. They're like going out and getting it, and you're just kind of like, but I have depression sometimes. And yeah, I think that if I am holding some of these people that I see online to a different standard or a higher standard than like a normal person, I think that it's probably possible that you have that same kind of outlook too. And it's maybe even possible that you've looked at me and thought that either one, I have it all together, which I don't know. If you actually think that way, leave a comment below because that would be really just it would blow my mind because I'm like I don't think that anybody would view me that way. But or two, you might think like, oh, Emily's trying to be a blogger, she thinks she has her whole life together and everything, which is not the case either. And I've seen a lot more people, especially with larger followings, try to be like more vulnerable and more authentic and share that they're just like a normal person. But I think when they have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people following them online, and you can see that, and you can see their following and how big it is and everything, you might look at it and be like, yeah, of course you're saying that, but it's not actually true. Or at least that's how I feel like I can think of people sometimes. And yeah, just lately I've been realizing, yeah, everybody's just normal. And a lot of times when I'm feeling insecure and I think like, oh, this person's probably like super judging me because I'm super awkward and I'm not cool, and they might think that I'm cool because I'm like trying to be a blogger or whatever. I think that people just aren't really out there thinking that I don't think everybody's out there thinking like, oh, I'm so cool, So anyway, I wanted to share like that my heart behind my blog, my heart behind this YouTube channel, why I want to reach out to women is because I truly care about women. I truly care about helping people. And so much so that sometimes it can almost roll into my depression of, I feel like I'm not helping people enough. I feel like I'm not living out my potential enough and everything like that. But really that is, I guess just how God has wired me, is to be a helper. And it's not that I have all the answers or that I'm a perfect homemaker. And so I want to teach you how to be a perfect homemaker. But the thing that I have that I want to share with you guys is Jesus. Okay, that is the reason why I show up online, why I share things that I don't even really want to talk about sometimes, especially if you got my Valentine's Day email. You know more of my story than, like I even would really care to just throw out there online. But the reason why I do it is because I have Jesus, and I want to share him with you guys. And so that is really, I got this great reminder from my friend this week. I was just texting her and I was like, I'm just overwhelmed. Right now is a busy time of year for my job, and I just have so much going on. And I'm out here trying to help women become better homemakers and, serve their families well and love them well and follow Jesus well. And I feel like I'm failing at everything. And she so sweetly reminded me that, Emily, it's not you being perfect, it's you preaching Jesus. There is no one else. And I was like, man, it just kind of like hit me in the face. Like when some people are like, I need a good kick in the butt or a kick in the pants, to get you motivated, to get you moving. That was like a slap into the face. Like, whoa, hey, stop, think, what is going on? What is important? Why am I doing this? Like, and, what is the purpose? And really Jesus, he is the purpose. He is everything. And, so I wanted to talk a little bit about, that kind of perception that, I guess I just wanted to be vulnerable about, like, I don't think I'm super cool. I don't think that I have it all together, but I am very passionate about doing things with excellence, being an excellent homemaker, being an excellent wife, representing Christ well, and I just strategize about these things, and these are things that I want to share with you guys through, the blog posts, emails, YouTube videos, and this course that I'm creating that I'm really hoping to put out there this fall. It's going to be a really long process, but that's something else I'm working towards too, because I just want to help people. And I realized too, the best way to do that is to point you to Jesus. Yes, I want to share practical, tips and productivity hacks and how to do these, earthly things that Jesus has called us to do as women. We are called to take care of our homes, and I want to show you how to do that with excellence, but even more than that, I want to preach to you why it's important and why it matters for eternity, and just the purpose that Jesus has placed on your life, and that he is there with you. He has called you to it, but he is going to enable you to do it too. And it's not just something that you have in your own power. It's not, believe in yourself because you have all the abilities and everything. Like, no, I don't. And I depend on Jesus for everything. He is my source of excellence, right? Any kind of excellence that I exude, that's all him. And really, I don't know, it makes sense because I look back at my life and I'm just like, wow, I was never always this person. But ever since I've really been walking with the Jesus, he has trained me to be this person, and taught me to really take pride in the work that I'm doing because it has this eternal purpose, and also to care about people, and to, help people. Like, this desire comes from the Lord. This is how he's wired me from the beginning. Like, if you are into Myers-Briggs personality type, I am an ENFJ. So that means that I love to like lead people and help people and to cheer them on and to like coach them. And that is, I think, how God has wired me to be. But until I became a Christian and started following Jesus, I really did not live up to that potential the way that I am now and the way that I'm walking in now. And that's all because he has, I guess, kind of refined my personality and given me purpose to, my life and what I'm doing and all of that. Okay, so I have to think for a second of how I was wanting to transition this, because I'm talking about, my purpose here, why I'm sharing with you, but I also wanted to share a little bit about what God says in his word about depression, because I think, yeah, like I was saying, I was feeling really ashamed because I was like, I'm not living up to how I want to teach you guys. And I think that if I'm going to teach you guys how to, be an excellent homemaker, then I need to be an excellent homemaker 24/7. But honestly, girl, like, that is not the case always. Just because I know what to do doesn't mean that I always follow through on it. And it doesn't mean that I do it perfectly, or that I don't struggle with depression sometimes and let that kind of turn me into a funk. And yeah, to be honest, this week I have just been in a funk. And yeah, I think my friend Mika, I know you're watching this. You guys will see her in the comments below. I just know it because she's in commenting on every video, because she's my friend and fellow YouTuber. And she does this thing so excellently where she knows what helps her. She struggles with some chronic illnesses, and I don't want to share like too much of her story, but I'm sure she'll comment below and then you guys can check her channel out too. But she is such an inspiration to me, because even though she is going through all of these struggles, she knows what she needs to do to get herself moving out of any kind of like funk or just struggles that she's going through, and she loves helping people too. So I was thinking about that, and a lot of times I just feel like, man, I'm in a funk, I can't help people. And I'm seeing Mika like go out there and helping people even though she's feeling down sometimes. And I think that she realizes how much that she can help other people by sharing her vulnerability, and then how much that actually helps her in turn. And so my husband was telling me, Emily, you just need to like sit down and talk to your people, because I was like, I'm in a funk. And he's like, me too. But I think honestly a lot of the just this season right now, I mean, it is so gloomy outside. I joke that my houseplants are depressed, and so am I. But it's true. They need some sun. I need some fresh air and some sun and some summer. Can I get an amen? But anyway, he's like, you just need to go and, talk to your people. And he is so right, because that is, that's the thing that helps me too, is helping others. And when I'm encouraging you guys in this, I'm encouraged myself. And so yeah, I think that oftentimes we don't do those things because we feel like, oh, I'm an imposter, I can't teach you something when I don't do it perfectly, because then I would be a hypocrite. No, I'm saying I know what to do, I can help you do it, I'm doing my best to do it too, but I know that I need to rely on the Lord to be able to do it. And I'm being honest with you guys and saying that I don't do everything perfectly either. And I think honestly, if you guys are expecting me to be perfect and I'm expecting me to be perfect, exhausting because I don't expect perfection from you guys. But what I do expect is that we are going to be following Jesus and chasing after him and encouraging and building one another up and living for an eternal purpose. So with all of that to say, I see on my timer that I am going way over what I, wanted to spend, but this is Emily Uncut. I talk a lot. So I wanted to share this story from the Bible. It's from the book First Kings in the Old Testament, and it's about Elijah. And if you guys have never read and studied First Kings, specifically about the story of Elijah in depth, I really encourage you to, because we did that in our small group this fall, and Silas really dug into this kind of passage that I'll tell you about. And wow, we just learned so much, and it was just really interesting. So starting in, okay, I will tell you, go read this part, go study this part. I'm not going to read it all because then we'll be here for an hour. But 1 Kings chapter 16, starting in, you can just start from the beginning, but really I would say highlighting verse starting at 29, because then we talk about King Ahab, starting from 16 verse 29, and then really kind of going through chapter 19. We'll just say that's probably like what I would recommend to go study around this topic. So just because it really will give you context to the whole story. But basically, to summarize, in the end of chapter 16, we learn about King Ahab, who was the 38th year in the, wait, sorry, sorry, Emily Uncut. King Ahab was a very evil king. So it says, verse 30, but Ahab, son of Omri, did what was evil in the Lord's sight more than all who were before him. And then in 33, Ahab also made an Asherah pole. Ahab did more to anger the Lord of Israel than all the kings of Israel who were before him. So, like, this dude is not a good dude. And then through the next couple chapters, it talks about Elijah, and he had a message to King Ahab because he was doing all of these evil things. There was this false god Baal, and there was like all these prophets of Baal, and they were all, it was just evilness. And if you read, chapter 18 is just, it's a good chapter because Elijah gets a little sassy. One of my favorite quotes, because basically the Lord had wanted Elijah to go and talk about how Baal was a false god and just kind of prove that to everybody. And so they set up this thing where they were going to burn okay, sorry, this is getting super long and you just need to go read it, but I just really wanted to say that Elijah was, obviously Baal was not doing anything because he was a false god, and God was showing that he is the one true God, and Elijah just mocks them. It's like, perhaps your God is sleeping and will wake up. And I'm just like, man, the sass. It's so interesting. Read the Old Testament. It's very interesting. But anyway, basically Elijah has, sets this thing up. God proves that he's the one true God, and then Elijah kills all the prophets of Baal according to the Lord's command to him. And then I'll just read this. This is the end of 18, verse 45, and then into verse 19. But basically, Elijah gets into this depression, and I'm just going to read this for you here. In a little while, the sky grew dark with clouds and wind, and there was a downpour. So Ahab got in his chariot and went to Jezreel. The power of the Lord was on Elijah, and he tucked his mantle under the belt and ran ahead of Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. Ahab told Jezebel everything that Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, saying, "May the gods punish me, and do so severely if I don't make your life the life of one of them by this time tomorrow." So basically, she's threatening to kill him. Then Elijah became afraid and immediately ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba, that belonged to Judah, he left his servant there, but he went on a day's journey into the wilderness. He sat down under a broom tree and prayed that he might die. He said, "I have had enough. Lord, take my life, for I'm no better than my fathers." Then he lay down and slept under the broom tree. Suddenly an angel touched him. The angel told him, "Get up and eat." Then he looked, and there at his head was a loaf of baked bread over hot stones, and a jug of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again. Then the angel of the Lord returned for a second time and touched him. He said, "Get up and eat, or the journey will be too much for you." So he got up, ate, and drank. Then, on the strength from that food, he walked 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mountain of God. He entered a cave there and spent the night. Okay, so let's unpack that just a little bit, because I think that this kind of chunk of scripture really shows the heart of God towards those who are struggling with depression. And two things that I wanted to point out is that Elijah talks about, the angel tells him to get up and eat, and there's baked bread, and Jesus is called the bread of life. So the correlation there is just really interesting, because like he needed bread, he needed the bread of life. We need Jesus. Yeah, that's basically where I'm going with that. And then also that then from the strength from that food, he walked 40 days and 40 nights, and Jesus was also in the wilderness for 40 days. So, wow, like I just love how this from the Old Testament, Elijah's experience with depression is correlated directly with Jesus in like these two really tangible ways that I'm pointing out. I mean, maybe there's more too. That's why I encourage you to study it for yourself too. But yeah, I'm just like, wow, okay. Elijah is basically praying to God, saying, "I'm suicidal, take my life. I don't want to live anymore." And God doesn't come after him and is angry at him or disappointed in him. He takes care of him. He sends the angel, and he gives him rest, he gives him food, he gives him strength, and that is the heart of God. And so I just want to say, like, if you are dealing with depression too, like I am, you can give God all of your emotions. You can give God all of your thoughts in prayer and really cry out to him without fear that he's going to judge you and be angry at you for feeling this way. His heart is to take care of you. And Elijah didn't realize what was going to come out of all of this. And for one, like I'm getting encouraged by this, because it's showing me how God his heart towards me, because if I'm going through the same kind of feelings and depression that Elijah was going through, then yeah, like I'm just saying, like, there's so much purpose to his life, and there's so much more to come. And I just want to speak that to you too, that there is so much more purpose into what's to come, the pain that you're going through. And sometimes asking God, hey, how can I turn this pain into something that is good and is going to benefit other people? And what do I, what do you need to do to take care of yourself? Maybe you need a nap and a snack, I'm sorry, Elijah. And maybe you need to help people because that is something that fires you up, like me. And that's what I'm doing. This is my nap and a snack today, and I'm already feeling so much better. And the other thing too that I want to mention is to not feel ashamed that you need to go and get help, because if God had to send an angel for Elijah to get help, you should not feel ashamed that you're going to seek help. Talk to your doctor, talk to a Christian counselor, or a mentor, or friends, or your spouse, or whoever it is. Just don't go through it alone. Don't think that you just need to sweep all your feelings under the rug and not bring them to God, because He wants you to bring those feelings to Him, and He wants you to have your physical needs met too. And like Elijah, having food and rest was exactly what he needed, and so that's what God gave him. And so, yeah, I just want to encourage you guys to not feel ashamed if you need to go and get some extra help, whether that be, anything that your trusted resource, doctor, medical professional, counselor. I'm just a girl on YouTube who is trying to help you and encourage you. I don't have all the answers, but I do know that the answer ultimately is Jesus, and He cares for you, and He is the bread. He's the bread of life. Elijah needed physical food, but he needs Jesus, and we do too. And yeah, that is my purpose here, to preach Jesus. There is no one else. I'll see you guys every Wednesday. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, like, comment. All of those things help me grow my channel. And like I said, I really care about helping other people. I'm not just in it for popularity or, to help myself. Like, I want to help people. That is truly what lights me up. And yeah, all of those things definitely help as I am growing the subscriber list and stuff like that. It all helps out so much. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later.